Alright, listen up everyone. They've announced that the technical regulations are changing for next season. Now there's a risk a lot of our hard work could be undone if we're not careful, so let's figure out how to mitigate this. Drivers, take a look at the developments we have and let us know what you want to invest in protecting. Alright everyone, let's get on top of this.
Yo, what's going on guys, it is Foxy98 here. Welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on the channel. Today we are here with a brand new episode of my F1 2019 career mode, and as you just saw at the start there, we are going to be having a technical regulation change coming in for next year, so that's what we're going to look at now. So first of all here, we get the upgrades for the Halo in terms of the aerodynamics, but as you can see, the chassis and the durability side of things are the two areas which are going to be affected by the regulation change. So these are areas that, as you can see, we're automatically starting to now adapt our parts to. We saved up 1,300 resource points. We're going to go ahead and adapt all of those parts. Also in today's video, I do not have qualifying, and I don't have the intro sequence to the Grand Prix. As I was recording, I realized that they were not. I realized that the recording was corrupt, so I went ahead and stopped the recording. But then my Elgato froze, and then I deleted the wrong piece of footage, which I deleted the qualifying footage. So unfortunately, after this, it's going to go straight to the Grand Prix itself. Nothing I could do about it. Just my Elgato having one of those days where it's like just didn't really want to work. So yeah, as you can see, we've adapted all of the durability parts and also a couple of the chassis parts. We'll be able to adapt the rest very soon. Not a problem for us in that circumstance. But as you can see, it's also going to be a dry race. But moving on then into the Grand Prix itself, like I said, unfortunately, I don't have the rest of it. We qualified in P12, I think it was. And then eventually we dropped down to P17 because I had to take a penalty for a couple of component changes. So I actually can't remember where I qualified. So in the race, we're going to start with the mediums, go to another set of mediums, and then go to the softs. There you can see there's a 5-place grid penalty for component changes. Let's get into it then. It's got 5 red lights here for the Singapore Grand Prix then. And it is lights out. We go here to start the Singapore Grand Prix. Decent start from us. Good start there from Gasly in the Red Bull, trying to get onto the back of Verstappen in towards the first corner. Focusing on ourselves though, being nice and ginger, nice and careful. I actually had to basically cut all of turn 1 there to actually not to avoid contact. The only person that is no longer in front of me is Alexander Albon. Terrible start for us here, and we've lost out to both the Williams cars. I try and look up the inside, and already it's been a really bad start as Vettel and Leclerc lead the pack away there. Norris in the middle of a scrap now. I'm at the back of the field pretty much in P19 now after starting in P17. Now I have a look up the inside here of the Williams car of George Russell. Now I'm focusing on Robert Kubica to try and get the move done on him, but annoyingly he actually goes for a massive dive bomb there on the Alfa Romeo car of Antonio Giovinazzi. So Giovinazzi under pressure here. I'm now trying to sneak my way on through. Annoyingly, I've been boxed in here, and both are going side by side. I can't go for an overtake here. In this place, as Raikkonen there is pressurizing one of the runners to Hulkenberg, but you can see they're still side by side going through towards this bridge section here, and it's really just putting me off. I've got nowhere that I can go to make an overtake here, but I'm going to try and dive it down the inside here. A little bit of contact there with the Alfa Romeo, and still I am not past these two, but we get a much better run on the exit here as we go down across the bridge now in towards this right hand. We're going to brake later, go around the outside here, 3 wide through this corner, but we just about hold on there and pass the Alfa Romeo, and then he said Sauber again, and also the Williams car, but I go extremely wide in the process there, and pretty much went off course, but we're back in front now of Giovinazzi. Unfortunately though, one of those starts actually, we normally when we start far down the order, we gain a good 4 or 5 places a lap on the opening phase, but annoyingly on this occasion, I don't think we've really gained at all. I think we only gained 1 place if I can remember off the top of my head. Round the final corner though, you can see that we complete the lap going very wide on the exit, and there it is. It's only P16, so we recovered to get back and in a net +1 in terms of overtakes. Now we're onto the back of Carlos sights here in the Sport Pacer Carlos Ballsack Racing Point Formula 1 team, and we're now going to go down the inside of Carlos in towards the bridge here and make the move stick on him, and that is us up now into 15th place here on lap 2 of the Grand Prix, and slowly but surely now we're starting to try and make amends of things. On lap 3 of the Grand Prix now, we're on the back of Sergio Perez and Renault, going for the dive bomb here in towards the right hand. That doesn't work though on that occasion, and Perez holds the position, and I was getting, in this stage of the Grand Prix, I'm not going to lie, I was already getting a bit frustrated behind the cars, and I was sort of lacking patience. I'm not patient, really not. When I want to make a move, I'm just going to make it. So we follow on board now here. We're following on the back of Sergio Perez, and now in towards the bridge. I decided, let's do it in here instead, considering we've done it every other point. A little bit of contact there between myself and Sergio Perez there, but we make the move stick. A little warning for collision, but it's wheel-to-wheel racing, so the stewards can once again lick the elbow. Onto lap 4 of the Grand Prix now. We've caught up to the back of Lucas Weber as Sergio Perez has dropped off behind quite rapidly. So he might have actually accumulated some damage from when we were trying to fight each other, but oopsie daisy. Speaking of attacking people though, we're going to go down inside of here, Lucas Weber. This time we make the move stick there, and Weber does make contact with the wall there. So a little bit of aggressiveness, but you know, when you're fighting wheel to wheel, you got to make sure that you don't touch the wall. So he touched it. And now on to P13. Next up is Grosjean. And once again, look at that. It's just the performance, the pace that I got here. And I go for it down the inside into a really audacious spot on the track here. Both no contact made on that occasion. But yeah, try to get past Grosjean. It didn't work on that phase. But you can see here that I'm just so much faster in this opening stint. And honestly, these medium tyres that I was running felt absolutely sensational. And I just couldn't take advantage of them because, well, I've got all these cars in my way and they won't get out of the way. So yeah, we have to fight them hard as we now attack Roman Grosjean here. He goes to the outside line to defend here. I brake later than Roman, but he cuts me off very, very nicely there. And once again, the AI is doing a great job of defending and just continuing to frustrate me here, but we get a great exit here. But unfortunately, Grosjean just carries it on. I'm trying around the outside here. Grosjean again cuts me off. So I'm really just desperate to pass this Haas car now. Just under pressure to find a specific overtaking spot. But with DRS here, we're going to go down the inside line here and make the position stick. And you can see they're shoving Grosjean very far away from the circuit there, and kind of just showing my anger in some sense there, but it's not really forcing him off the track because at the end of the day I have that corner and I was in front by quite some margin, so that is mine. Lap 6 of the Grand Prix now, and we've caught up to the back of the little train here with quite a few cars here. We go down the inside of Hulkenberg, though, for that is going to be P11 now. Raikkonen next at the road for P10, then we've got Magnussen, Bottas, and Norris. So Valtteri is in a bit of a scrap here, but we put ourselves back into play now here because we've got Bottas, who's in 6th, Norris, who's in 7th, and then we've got one of the Red Bulls and then the other Sport Pesa Carlos Borsak Racing Point Formula 1 team just up ahead, which will be for P4. So actually, we're not in an all-or-out situation here as we go down the inside of Raikkonen now for P10 and up into the points now as Norris and Magnussen here fighting hard for position. We just need to see if there's any way we can try and find an overtaking spot. Norris, though, continues to battle with Magnussen, and once again, that frustration builds in. All I can do is just sit and wait. I can't do anything else here, and I've just got to let them two fight. Norris is going to outbrake Magnussen slightly in towards here. You can see now that they just about carry on, but Norris is trying to give the position, or leeway the position in Magnussen's favour, and just, well, hold me up. So in that circumstance, I'm going down the inside, or I might have just clipped Magnussen's rear wing there on that front. I checked for damage. I didn't actually get anything, but I got a warning for collision with Magnussen, so I think I just tapped in there as I was going down the inside of Norris, and if he spun out, then I would have got a penalty for it, but nothing happened, so it's fine. We can carry on. Norris makes his way into the pits on the end of lap 8. Speaking of Magnussen, we're going to come through here on lap 8 and get our elbows out. That's probably going to be the title of the video, but to be honest, getting our elbows out. We're really fighting hard against these cars, but we need to if we're going to make up the places. Moving on to lap 11 of the Grand Prix now, and we're coming in for our first stop of the Grand Prix. The tyre wear was really, really good, actually. There was literally next to no tyre wear. However, I had the option at that stage. I was really considering switching my strategy and going for the one stop, which was the medium tyres to a set of the hard tyres. I decided on that lap, on lap 11 that we're driving on now, that I'm going to scrap that plan. I absolutely loved the medium tyres on that first stint. They were absolutely sensational. So I'm going to go on to another set of medium tyres, take advantage of that, and basically, because I was starting far back, because I know I've got to be fighting a lot of cars, I just want the fastest strategy in this Grand Prix. I don't really care where I finish. The aim for me is to have the fastest strategy and have the strategy which sets me on the fastest compounded tyres, and also I'm going to go for the fastest lap at the end of the race, because in my next stint afterwards, I'm going to go onto the set of the soft tyres and try and bolt them on and set the fastest lap. So that's the aim, and as you can see on to lap 13 here, we're closing up to the back of Carlos Sainz for the second time in this Grand Prix to go for the overtake now. I think Carlos is on those mediums and has been on them for a while. He's going to do the one stop in the race, but I'm not going to. So I'm going to now try and pass Carlos, as you can see here now. Attacking him, we're going to go towards the inside line. It's the fastest first sector of anybody so far in the race. Verstappen now 10 seconds up the road, but he's on hard tyres, so he's most probably going to the end of the race. On to lap 24 of the Grand Prix now. That is my stint over and done with, but you can see, look, that Verstappen there was 10 seconds up the road. Probably, it got to about 1.9 seconds that I managed to close that gap down. So in 10 laps, actually, I managed to close 9 seconds. So that just shows how quick these medium tyres were. We're now coming in for our soft tyres, and we're going to put these on, and then we're going to go, obviously, to the end of the race now, and just try and see if we can, A, get the fastest lap point, and B, Valtteri Bottas is just going towards going down the back, about to start on the back straight. So I'm going to see how close I can get to him. I don't know how far away I am, but, you know, I want to go and try and get him. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go all out and try and make the overtake done on Bottas. Moving on to lap 26 to lap 27, you can see the gap there is 14 seconds between myself and Bottas. With 7 laps to go, we need to gain 2 seconds a lap on the Mercedes car. Bit bold, but we're on fresh soft tyres. We should be rapid. And here is actually my fastest lap for the entire Grand Prix itself. This was my lap to attempt to get the fastest lap of the race and get that bonus point. The only time that I've ever done that is at the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I'm going to go for it now. So in towards the first sector split here, we set the fastest first sector, and we managed to close that gap to Bottas by 1 second in just one sector, which I was actually shocked about because there's not really that many corners, and we still managed to breeze through as Magnussen and Pierre Gasly go to war for P7. Gasly there, just about to take the place. But you can see all the split strategies. Gasly's on mediums, Magnussen's on hards, I'm on softs, Bottas is on hards, Charles Leclerc's on mediums. It's all a bit of a crazy strategy stint here, but we go now through in towards the hairpin here now, and we're just taking it nice and easily through there and getting onto it. But you can see we're using hot lap and rich mix. I have no battery left. You can see I'm on 6%, but it just recharged through the middle sector. The gap now down to 11.6 seconds. That's 1.4 seconds in the middle sector alone on Bottas, which means so far in this lap alone, we've managed to close the gap by 2.4 seconds. Such is the pace that we've got on these soft tyres. And now towards this final sector, this is where I was actually faster anyway. This is my best sector on the racetrack as we now go through in towards the final bit. A little bit cheeky with the corner with the right hander there, but we didn't get a warning for it, so it's fine. Through the last corner now, and we're going to come across the line here, drop the car back down into its normal modes. 139.3. We gained about 3 seconds on Bottas on that lap alone, and now it's the chase is on. The gap was 10 seconds. Lap 27 to lap 28, the gap is 7.9 now. Lap 28 towards lap 29 of the Grand Prix, getting ever closer, but we're now just 5.8 behind Bottas. He's now on the mini-map here, and it's 4 seconds now with 2 to go. On to the final lap now of this Singapore Grand Prix. That gap is 2.7 seconds, and unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Sebastian Vettel wins the Singapore Grand Prix. There's Bottas up the road. My tyres were actually starting to go off at this stage. I was pushing really, really hard, but we crossed the line to finish in P6. A great recovery drive from P17, albeit we were extremely aggressive in the race. But there's one thing that people probably don't know about myself if you've never seen my videos before. I'm not someone that's like quite passive. I watch a lot of videos from different F1 YouTubers, and sometimes I just see a lot of different styles of racing. A lot of people are very cautious about different things. I'm kind of not like that. I'll just go for an overtake. I'm not going to sit back and be a gentleman about it. I'm just going to go all out, and if I don't make the overtake, then I'm in the wall. That's kind of how I judge it. But anyway, really solid Grand Prix for us, though. It's going to be P6. Sebastian Vettel wins the Singapore Grand Prix ahead of Lewis Hamilton, ahead of Charles Leclerc. It's a great result for Vettel because he is the championship leader, and Charles Leclerc has been on a massive roll recently. Charles Leclerc has won the past 3 races. So Vettel then finally getting above his teammate there, and pretty much starting to fully cement himself as the upcoming world champion in my career mode. But for us, we obviously got P6 and the fastest lap, so that gives us 9 points in total. We'll see it obviously now on the screen here. So as you can see, it is Vettel from Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, Verstappen in 4th ahead of Bottas, myself in 6th, but like I said, we got the bonus point for the fastest lap, Gasly in 7th, Norris with a great result to finish in 8th, ahead of Magnussen and then Devon Bulsack. So that's really good for us in terms of the Constructors' Championship versus Racing Point. So looking at the standings then, you can see that Vettel leads the way by 31 points now over Lewis Hamilton, 65 points clear of Charles Leclerc. Meanwhile, we're like 150 points off, but we're not focusing on the Drivers' Championship this season. And obviously, we're focusing on trying to beat Max Verstappen. In the Constructors' Championship, though, we are now on 159 points and have a 49-point lead over Racing Point.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. You must be feeling good about winning your battle with your old F2 rival, Devon.
I'm feeling great because he's rubbish.
Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today?
Honestly, I kind of did because they were all side by side, but I still blast past them.
We all underestimated you, didn't we?
Yes. Wrong choice.
You had a few bumps and scrapes today. Who would you say is at fault?
Everyone but me. No comment.
Appreciate your time.
That was quite interesting, actually. I've never had Claire come up to me with 4 questions. Normally it's like 3 or 2. But that time she had 4 questions. I didn't know when she was going to stop. However, though, some good news for us. We managed to win the rivalry against Devon Bullsack there. So, obviously, the Bullsack boy really needs to pick up his pace. Otherwise, you know, he's rubbish. In that circumstance, we run that rivalry. That's 576 resource points. Brings us back up to 1,000 resource points, which we can use to re-adapt the final 2 pieces of the chassis, which we need to do. But guys, that is going to wrap it up for my F1 2019 career mode here for the Singapore Grand Prix. Couple of transcripts here. So Claire Thomas did much better today in the race than he did in qualifying. Were you expecting that? Yeah, for some reason he was actually really kind about this one. So being able to continue to fight on that. And then we've got Lucas Weber, some transcripts about him. Honestly, like, Lucas Weber in my career mode is just the most pointless thing in the world. Like, I don't know, I don't even see him. So yeah, I only really care about Devon. But we are going to make some adaptations. We've got 2 pieces left on the chassis. One's a major upgrade, and then one's a minor one, which we obviously need to save for next season. We've actually got 2 minors. So it's 200 resource points, I believe, each. It's half the resource points that you spend. It's 285 resource points. We're going to go ahead and adapt that part, adapt the other minor part, and then obviously we can adapt the other part as well. So everything is now safe for next season. So until then, guys, I will see you for the next episode of the Russian Grand Prix. Take care, all.